Did you hear that? I think we just heard that cruises are officially restarting from the United States starting in July. Hi there, I'm Ilana from the website lifewellcruise.com. Welcome back to my channel. Did you hear the good news? Yes, Alaska cruises are restarting starting in the month of July. Now, in this video, I'm going to give you all of the news about the Alaska sailings. We're also going to look at the latest in the CDC updates and their protocols. There's actually been a lot of cruise news over the last, couple of weeks. But in this video, I'll talk to you about the last week. There have been updates sometimes a couple of times a day. So this video will be comprehensive. We will go through it all, including when cruises might restart in the other cruise ports in the United States, what's needed for vaccinated versus unvaccinated cruises, and I'll even talk to you a little bit about the Canada travel ban. Now, before I get started, I did want to mention that if you like this video, if you find it helpful, informative, enjoyable in any way, then please do give the video a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. All right, let's get started. Firstly, let's talk about Alaska cruises. Now, I have to say, I never would have thought that the very first cruises that we would hear announce that they would be sailing in the United States would be Alaska cruises. But when it comes to cruise news, we have to expect the unexpected, right? After all, Alaska cruises looked like they might just not happen. They had a lot of obstacles. Not only did they have the CDC conditional sailing order, they also had the Canada Cruise Ban and the Passenger Vessel Services Act that requires a cruise leaving from the United States, going to another place in the United States to stop in a foreign port, that being Canada. So finally, that bill has passed in the House. That happened just last week. Really, really good news. It looks like President Biden simply has to sign off on that. And there are all indications that this is actually going to happen and cruises will be resuming in the United States. And we actually had several cruise lines that very, very quickly announced their specific dates and their ships that are going to be sailing in Alaska. Now, the cruise ships that have announced their sailings so far include Princess Cruises' Majestic Princess starting on July 25th, Holland America's New Amsterdam starting on July 24th, Carnival Miracle July 27th, The Celebrity Summit July 23rd, Royal Caribbean's Serenade of the Seas July 19th, and Ovation of the Seas August 13th, and Norwegian Cruise Line has the Bliss that is still on the schedule for August 7th. Now, this is pending finalizing details with the CDC and as well making sure that the crew is all vaccinated, both of which look very positive and that it is actually happening right now. Now, unfortunately, this does come with some cancellations. So if your cruise has been canceled, you'll have communication by the cruise line and or your travel agent, and you'll have some different options, including moving over to another cruise, taking a future cruise credit, or taking a refund. Now, we also had some cruise vaccination updates this week as well. So firstly, the Alaska cruises that I just mentioned, all of them, including the Carnival cruise, look like they will be vaccinated cruises. Now, in good part, well, one of the reasons, of course, might be for safety, but the other reason is because then cruise lines can actually skip those trial or those test cruises and just go straight into cruising. Of course, they have to still follow those protocols, but it does make it easier for a restart in Alaska. Now, we also have a vaccine requirement update for Celebrity and for Royal Caribbean. So while some cruise lines are requiring everybody to be vaccinated on their cruises, Royal Caribbean and Celebrity were asking everybody that were 18 plus to be vaccinated, and then they lowered that age to 16 plus. Now, starting on August 1st, that age is lowered to 12 plus. So it really looks like they're going with the vaccine availability, at least so far. Now, it doesn't mean that there won't be any non-vaccinated cruises. We will talk about that a little bit later on in the video, but for the cruises that have been announced so far, so that means in the Bahamas, in Alaska, in the Caribbean, so far, the requirement is that everybody 12 and over after August 1st will need to be vaccinated. Now, the CDC guidelines and protocols are also changing. And I have to say, a lot of the changes have to do with the vaccinated cruises, but we're also seeing some changes for cruising in general. So overall, really some good news. And I hope, because we are seeing so many updates and changes, that we will see continued positive changes in the weeks to come. So if you are on a vaccinated cruise, things are looking a little bit closer to normal. You won't have to wear a mask when you're outside on a lounge chair or while you're eating and drinking. So this is a lot better. Shore excursions, of course, as long as the cruise lines allow you and as long as the cruise ports say it's okay, you can do shore excursions on your own. There are also some updated testing requirements. So if you are already vaccinated, you won't have to be tested before embarking on a cruise ship or before disembarking. Now, the rules are a little bit different for international passengers as for flying out. So that is something a little bit different, but at least for the cruise itself, you won't actually have to embark with a test. Now, if you are on a short cruise, so something that is 3 days or less, you will, even if you are not vaccinated, not have to test either. And two things that I'm really happy about, one of them is that back-to-back cruises are actually allowed, and the other one is that cruises that are longer than 7 days are now allowed again. So definitely good news for people that either want to book a cruise that are longer than 7 days or people that are already booked on cruises that are longer than 7 days and we're worried about it. Yes, my hand is up. So what about those non-vaccinated cruises, you might be wondering? Well, it doesn't look like, at least for the protocols, those more restrictive ones, it doesn't look like there are any positive changes so far. So the mask rule, even outdoors on your lounge chair, the fact that we have to take shore excursions with a cruise line, all of those things remain the same on those non-vaccinated cruises, at least for right now. But we do hear from the cruise lines, including Carnival, that has been pretty vocal that they don't think that everybody should have to be vaccinated to go on a cruise. They say that that doesn't happen for any other type of vacation. So they don't want that to have to be the case for cruises. Well, they say they are still working with the CDC on clarification. So we can hope perhaps that there will be some better news that is more in line with the requirements in the United States on land soon. Now, if you have a thought on how that's going to go, please let me know in the comments below. Now, in other big news, UK cruises have finally restarted with the MSC Grandiosa, and it sailed its maiden voyage with UK cruisers on a 4-night sailing. Now, in cruise cancellation news, we have Royal Caribbean that has canceled the Vision of the Seas, and that was to be sailing out of Bermuda this summer. Now, I remember just a few weeks ago when we were all really excited about the news of Royal Caribbean sailing in Bermuda and in the Bahamas and other cruises that were sailing from, well, in other places in North America. And unfortunately, this cruise wasn't meant to be. And Royal Caribbean does say that they absolutely support cruising to Bermuda. They are going to continue to sail to Bermuda, but they won't be home porting there. And they've seen that passengers, U.S. passengers, really are looking forward more to sailing from U.S. ports, and it does look like that is imminent. Now, there are other cruises that are going to be starting to sail in the Caribbean and the Bahamas shortly. We have the Celebrity Millennium that's going to be sailing in St. Martin very soon. We have the Adventure of the Seas Royal Caribbean ship that's going to be sailing from Nassau, Bahamas. We also have Norwegian Cruise Line that's going to be sailing from the Dominican Republic and from Jamaica. And we have the Crystal Serenity that's going to be sailing from the Bahamas as well. And those cruises have proved so popular that they've actually added on an additional 6 sailings. So I do have a Canada travel ban update for those of you that are interested, because not only do we have a cruise ban, but we do have a travel ban that's been in place since last March and has been actually a little bit more restrictive the last several months of 2021 as well. So officially it is in place until June 21st, but it will likely, possibly, probably continue after that point, because our transport ministry doesn't really have a timeline as to when that can be lifted and when it will be safe. And that includes a lot of those restrictions, including the fact that travelers to Canada and people that are residents of Canada will actually have to, when they do come back to Canada, if they choose to travel, will have to quarantine in a quarantine hotel at their own expense. Now, getting back to cruises from the United States, you might be wondering what is happening with cruises that are leaving out of Florida, out of Galveston, out of LA, out of Cape Liberty. What is happening? Well, we do know that there's those vaccinated and those unvaccinated cruises and the possibility of test sailings. And we really haven't heard a lot publicized about where they are in that process. But I imagine there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and we should hear more shortly. Now, we do know that there are some port agreements being signed with the different ports. Some cruise lines or some of the ports have publicized that, but I imagine there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes that we just don't know about. Now that we've heard that Alaska cruises are starting up in the month of July, it can't be far behind that we hear about the other cruise ports as well. And I Cannot wait. Please let me know, when do you think that we're going to hear that cruises are going to restart from Florida, from Galveston, from maybe your favorite cruise ports? Please let me know in the comments below. What do you think is going to happen next? Now, if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a big thumbs up. I really do appreciate it. And of course, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'd love to have you here within the Life Well Cruise community. Bye for now. Happy cruising.